There we go. Had to get to my buttons. Hey!
Techno drag on that intro, no worries.
Yeah. So...
Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to the show. Namaste. Aloha.
Yeah.
Aho. Blessed be. Shalom. What else we got?
Hare Krishna. No, that's something.
Namaste. All kinds. Hi, guys.
Hi. Wonderful to see you.
Very good to see you. Welcome to the show. If you haven't figured out from reading below the screen, this is Dale Stacy in between. And on the other side of me is Iris. I am Margot. Good evening. We'll do a little bit of housekeeping while we're letting people come in, check in, drift in. Not everybody comes right at 9:30. And let's see. Housekeeping would be what our show is about. I'm trying to hit a checklist in my head. We've been talking about interdimensional things and thinking. Trying to come back to this one.
Yeah.
Pre-show, but now we're in the show. Ronald Henley has checked into the chat from Facebook. Hi, Ron.
Good love the kitty cat.
He's a cat person. He's awesome. And you know what? That leads me off of my first. We are on 2 platforms, YouTube and Facebook. Please feel free to participate, ask questions, make comments on what Dale is saying, on what we're saying in the chat or in the comments on your platform, and so that the other platform can understand. Also, because we record this in audio for future broadcast on Spotify and iTunes and so on, we read everybody's comments out loud that are questions out loud. When Iris pops them up on the screen, Anita is coming in. Hi, Anita. And so that makes it easier for everybody to participate. What we're talking about, if you're new to the show, if you want to know, Iris and Margot are the hosts. You can learn more about our credentials and our background and experience on the very first episode in September of 2020. We've passed our 2-year mark in the first show called The Prequel. It's about a half hour. You can hear us interview each other on our credentials. And yes, we know we need to update it. It's been 2 years. We need to add to it. And you can find out more about us that way. You can also check out our topics and find specific podcasts that speak to ideas, concepts, topics that you're interested in on Iris's personal website, iriscarter.com. You can also communicate with Iris there at iris@iriscarter.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. I thought I had the wrong thing up, but that doesn't matter, does it?
No worries. You can find a Iris, what do you call that chart?
An index to all our shows. It's a searchable index.
Searchable index, and it tells you how to click around, and it'll pop you right to that show. Has keywords, search words, makes it easy to find what you want, because we have almost a little more than 100 shows.
Yeah, something like 105, 106, I think.
Something like that. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and we cover multiple topics as well. So Mike has come in.
And
okay, no, that's Cheryl. Cheryl's using Mike's access. Hi, sweetie. And there's V. That's Cheryl's daughter, actually.
Ah.
So we have a mom and a daughter on the show. Hello, ladies. Thank you. And cool. All right. So, Iris, give us a rundown of what we're doing tonight.
Well, as every night we discuss weird stuff in a rational way. Got to show our little bluebird and our motto there. And then tonight we are welcoming Dale Stacy with us. Aloha is constant theme that we love. He has actually written a new book. I can throw this up here too. He's written a number of books, but this is his latest, and I have a copy. Margot's got a copy, and Dale's got lots of copies he wants to sell.
Yes,
I've got mine with all kinds of dog ears, baby.
Yeah. but Dale is a shaman and a holy cow. He teaches. He runs, created Earth. Don't let me mess this up.
Founded director, co-operator, co-director with his wife.
Yes, with EarthStar Spiritual Center. Got to make sure I don't mess that up. And I've been there. It's absolutely beautiful. I love it. It's just, every time I want like a little recess in my mind, I just kind of go there because I love the colors and stuff in the house. It's just when you can see behind him the orangey color on the wall,
Right.
and it's like that throughout the whole house.
Right.
It's just awesome. So, Dale, what would you like to tell about yourself, first of all? First question, as far as introduction, because there's so many things that we could say about you. All good, of course.
Narrow it down relative to this book. What would you like for us to know?
Right. Well, as far as being a shaman, I'd like to say that really everyone is a shaman. Everyone's a teacher, everyone's a healer, everyone's a minister. So we're all shamans. It's just we have different levels of awareness and perception and consciousness. So we all do our shamanic thing. And if we could have a good definition of a shaman, then that's anyone who influences his or her reality with the harmony of mind, body, and spirit. So you can see that people would have different levels of aptitude and consciousness with that. And as far as the harmony of mind, body, and spirit, what we're talking about is the mind decides something, creates this image, right? This belief, this thought, and then the body remembers that. It then begins to work, and it builds on that thought, right? And then our spirit, of course, helps us to create that thought and brings it into fruition with inspiration and creation. So really, we do this all the time. We do it every single day. We do it every second of the day. It just depends how much we're keyed in on how much our consciousness level is involved with that process, that we're able to create and co-create with all these wonderful 8 billion shamans on the planet.
Wow, that's very cool. Want to say hello to Rose. She just came in. And so and I forgot to do our behind the scene thing, but we're going to skip it for this week, I think.
We'll do our peek behind the curtain another time.
Oh yeah. And also about being, Ira said our place was beautiful here at EarthStar Spiritual Center. We're not a public building. This is our home. So it's not like you just want to come out and have a picnic lunch on the
right.
Yard.
You don't want people camping out.
This is our house. So
by invitation, make contact.
But it makes it inviting to when you have a class or workshop or
event.
Any type of event. It's a very inviting place to be.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah,
and we have private sessions too with shamanic life coaching and energy healing and shamanic stuff, ceremonies, rituals. So.
And I guess, when we say you all or we, as in your case, we're also talking about Jeannie, who is your wife.
Yes.
So just want to mention her name. Don't want to leave her out.
No, she just had her second cataract surgery yesterday. So she keeps saying all day long, everything is so bright. So
yes.
Both eyes now are wide open. She has a total reset. So that's just wonderful. So.
I love
brain and energy realigned.
Yes.
Yeah. With the new
really
cellular
does.
structure. Very cool.
Yeah.
So if people are watching and you haven't commented or said hello or checked in with us, that's okay. But we prefer it if you at least type and say hi, because otherwise we don't know you're there, which for some of you, you're probably glad. That's normal. There's a lot of reclusive people in the world, and that's fine. But if you feel so inclined, please type in and say hello, say hi, and let us know that you're out there with your ears on.
Yes.
Yeah. Appreciate that.
Okay.
So, Iris, where do you want to go first?
Well, let's see. Okay, so you started the Simply Shaman Mystery School, which is the first thing. Explain where that title, because it's Simply Shaman Mystery School, and then at the bottom, I got a glare on it, I know. It's the Interdimensional Shamanism, 3D, 4D, 5D, and beyond.
Yes.
So can you explain the meanings and purpose behind the title? Because that sounds It sounds like a mystery all in itself. Yes.
Well, we started a mystery school in 2008, and that had to deal with our 7 chakras or 7 temples of reality. So that was strictly called Shamanic Mystery School, 7 Temples of Reality. So we did that all the way through 2013, 2014. Well, in 2014, I decided that evidently I created this wonderful reset of having a stroke. 4 days in the hospital, I get back, right? Things happen. I understood right away what all that was about. On the 28th day from that event, this happened in March of 2014. The 28th day, I'm in our sunroom meditating, and I see orbs come into the room. Now, this was with my third eye, or what I perceived to be the third eye at the time. So I stopped what I was doing, went to get Jeannie. I wanted to make sure I wasn't having a medication or stroke reaction. You can obviously imagine how that would be. I mean, 28 days in. And 28 days is a wonderful day. That's a wonderful number for me because it's that's the medicine wheel. And so I went and got Jeannie and said, would you please, and she's used to my little random requests throughout the day. I said, would you please come in the sunroom and just tell me what you see? That's all I said. So Jeannie sat down, and she's very psychic and perceptive, and it only took her about 10 seconds. She goes, the room is full of these colored orbs. I said, okay, thank you. So Jeannie left the room, and I stayed in, and I hopped right back into the meditation. And the orbs just materialized into 3 women. And they said they were from the Pleiades. Now, you can't say this to too many people. So anyway, that's what I was believing, right? They told me their names. The first one, of course, was a Hawaiian woman. And then there was a Nordic woman. And then there was a Celtic type woman. Actually, there were 2. They were almost like twins later on. And so they started to teach me and minister to me about dimensional living or interdimensional living, to key off of the Shaman Mystery School we had done for the past 6-7 years, and to branch that out into the many dimensions that we all are in all the time, right? We're mind, body, and spirit. So right there, we're 3 dimensions, and we're this every single second of the day. So they were teaching me about how to approach dimensional living, interdimensional living, multidimensional living, many names, transdimensional. So dimensional, just to keep it short. And how we can use this in our shamanism, because as shamans, we want to be effective in moving between these dimensions, right? We want to be in the mind, want to be in the body, want to be in the spirit, want to be in the energy of Mother Earth and Father Son. So I went to them every single day, and I wrote for about 5 months. I've still got my notebooks from that, and I wrote every single note. I may not have known what exactly it meant at the time. And then I was able to finally, when it was all over by Christmas there, thought I had enough to formulate some type of lesson plan to put this into a school format. And so we did. And when I was asking about a title, and it was like, just be a shaman. Don't worry about all the little other things. Just simply be. I said, okay, great. I'll say Simply Shaman Mystery School. And that's how the name got started. And so in 2015, we started teaching that school.
Wow. I want to give a shout out to Whitney. Hello, good to see you here. And okay, and so just to clarify, because if some people are watching and they don't know, the
Palladians.
Yeah, Palladians. I always keep going. Am I going to say Palladium and Palladians? To say it right. They're in a star system that's fairly close to us in relative activity to others, right. And they're friendly. Right. They're very supportive of Earth and that sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
They're very dimensional also, and obviously we were connecting psychically, dimensionally, as we had this communication, just like we could with anyone in the universal multiverse. Because remember, we're all one at heart. We're all this one beautiful soul spirit. With God, and so we're able to make that connection at any time.
Yeah, and hello to Heidi.
They actively interact with us. The theory is that we share ancestry.
Right. Yes. Exactly.
As well, right. Or that many of us share. Not everybody, but most.
Why we compare them, a lot of them, to the Nordic with the tall and blonde and
Yeah, they often look like tall whites.
Right.
Yeah.
And I've had experience within dealing with my other studies with the Maya philosophy and spirituality, and of course all the Hawaiian stuff is with the Pleiades, and also with the Cherokee. The Cherokee have all these wonderful stories about the seven sisters, and that's with the Pleiades. Yeah.
I gotcha.
They hung out on that side of the globe quite a lot.
So I've always been captured by their energy and their love and their willingness to help humankind. So.
Very cool.
Very cool. Well, let me ask you some other questions that are centered around what you just talked about. You were talking about the dates and the progressions of when you did stuff, 2015, 2018, and so on. And 2008 to 2015. Right. And in your book, you mentioned obviously 3 types of shamans, and a 3D shaman, 4D shaman, and a 5D shaman. And the book does an excellent job of expounding on what is the predominant focuses.
Yes.
Let's keep it 25 cent English, okay? on what the multiple focus purposes are and intentions are of each type of level of awareness and or dimension and or density, depending on the context of the question. And yes, I totally get that you had to do has love light with the slash, and you explain that in the beginning of the book.
Yes.
Because of the limitations of English.
Yes.
And something else I noticed you did as you went further in the book, you stopped using periods and you went on to using ...
Yes. Oh, thank you for that. Yeah,
between sentences.
It's like you stop that energy, it continues.
Mm-hmm. As further you went into the 5th dimension, the more it became the abstract trail off of thought.
Oh, thank you.
Represented with the ... Because the sentence would say an idea, and it would automatically seed further realizations, and the ... visually tells the reader, you can drift a little bit right here before we start on the next idea.
Yes. You got it. Yes.
It worked. It worked.
Good.
Former English professor here, I'm telling you, you did great. And I write like that a lot myself, even in my day-to-day communiques. And so I totally identified with that. It was really nice. It was cool to see you do it. I saw the progression from when you were writing about 3D.
Yes.
I didn't read as much about 4D. I read the book in terms of what do I want out of it. So I read 3 and I read 5.
Yes.
And I'm going to go back and do 4. And I'm going to do the end with the extra. But anyway, enough about that. Back to here. So I saw the progression from standard English to more ethereal type of English, a little more abstract English. And I just wanted to point out, good job.
Oh, thank you so much.
You did a really good job there.
Thank you.
But with circling back to what I started with, dates, in the beginning of the book, you talk about in 12/21, 2012, big shift, all this good stuff, humanity, another level of consciousness, whatever. And here and there in the book, you also describe anecdotes, stories of your own experiences, of your own life, of your own stories.
Yes.
To illustrate a point. And maybe you talked about this in the 4D section because I didn't read that. But what happened? What did you and Jeannie do on 12/21/12?
Oh, yeah.
Did you have a ceremony? Did you celebrate? Did you sleep all day? What'd you do?
No, we had a ceremony here at EarthStar. Yes, and we had probably 20 people here, other shamans. And yes, we had a wonderful ceremony. We did some drumming and some smudging and did some prayers and blessings. And we just kind of were together during that time. Drumglow Melchizedek had a live YouTube going on at the time. And so we were able to watch that and be part of that also as he went through like a little meditation with us. Yeah, so that was wonderful. And we were able to share that together. Yes.
Very cool. I was just really curious. I was like, what did he do on that day? That was a big day. And I didn't remember because it was, 10 years ago?
Yes.
At least. Yeah, almost 10 years ago. All right, cool. Thank you. I was just kind of curious about that. There's lots of lines in here, quotes that in the whole book that I really love. And the first one that jumped out on me can be seen on page 36. And it's every atom is love.
Yes. Yes.
And I wish people understood that statement, as simple as it is. I wish they understood it more thoroughly. And if they dug into it, they would understand probably a good 1/3 of what we're trying to say.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, because if we just had an understanding that, God created everything and continues to create everything. That means every single atom in the universe, multiverse, metaverse, megaverse, everywhere, anywhere.
Every particle, everywhere.
Yes, it's God. So, and we know that everything is created with love and out of love. So if we could just understand every single atom is love, and that means every single atom inside our little physical bodies too. So we have to love who we are and why we're here. To be loved, of course, is our purpose.
Exactly.
And I think it's also because, you think about how so many people are raised with mainstream religious beliefs that separate God and people. And we're begging for his love and his attention. And we have to be good in order to deserve that love. And, and God, cancel clear all that, because it's totally different. And we're born with that divine connection, and we are that, we're there. And so it is important for people to realize that there's no separation.
Yeah, no separation. Yes, and if we can remember Jesus' greatest commandment, love one another as I've loved you. Right there in John 15:12. So my goodness.
You will do these things in greater.
I mean, just be loved. Love one another. So.
Yes.
Which brings me to a really abstract concept that I'm going to circle around to, because it's really way out there with the word love, which is really awesome, but it's a big leap. So let me back up and ask you a few routine, basic questions that lead towards that deeper question that I eventually want to ask. But a more basic question that I think maybe a lot of our audience would be interested in, and is, can you try to summarize the essential differences, features of a 3D, 4D, 5D awareness of a shaman?
Yes. Hopefully I can do that. That's some big bold print in the book.
It is.
3D, then we're talking about just basic self-awareness. So trying to understand who we are as a human, the who, what, when, where, how, and why of life, of love, of everything. So basic self-awareness as a human, who we are and why we're here. Okay. And then in 4D, that's a very nice one. That's all about love. So 4D is strictly love. And that means trying to be the love, trying to see, hear, and feel the love in every moment, or try to sense, feel, and know the love in every moment. And eventually in 5D, we move to that perspective of wholeness, where we can be love in every moment. So 3D is self-awareness, 4D is love, and 5D is wholeness and universal consciousness, right? So 3D, self-awareness, earth consciousness. 4D is love and galactic consciousness, broadening and expanding, right? And then 5D is wholeness and universal consciousness, right?
Now, what do you wholeness? Like WHOLE?
Wholeness with a W. Yes, everything is.
Explain what you mean by wholeness.
Yeah, wholeness. Wholeness
for the audience.
I usually have a diamond. I meant to have it out. Imagine I have a diamond. Oh, you got a diamond in your hand. That diamond represents us. Thank you. Wonderful. Okay, good. So this diamond represents who we are. And this is where we have been, are, and will be forever. So we are in this diamond with God. So what we do is we just have a particular facet of the diamond any given lifetime. And this is the facet of the diamond that we're expressing. So it may be on the back side, the front side, maybe inside. It may be a piece of the light that glints off the diamond that's shining somewhere else, but it all emanates from the diamond. So this diamond is where we live for all of eternity. And we're bouncing around and bouncing off of each other and bouncing around these different facets. And this is what we do. So if we bring that down to a human level, just think we're a human. If all humans were in a diamond, well, you got some people that are broadcasters, some are women, some are men, some are teachers, some are doctors, some are lawyers. So everybody has a different and unique facet that they express as a divine person. So that's what I mean by the wholeness. We're all whole because we're all contained within this beautiful diamond. And that's where we have been forever. We've always been there. We are now, and we will be forever. This is where we are. So when we circulate back and do our past lives and future lives and present lives and parallel and alternate lives, they're all within this diamond. And if we're all within the diamond, that means we're all learning from each other. So we are each other's teachers. So
the diamond represents the whole cosmos, yes, inside and outside, across all times, yes, all awarenesses, basically the universe, yes, in layman's terms.
Yes.
So 5D is recognizing we are part of that wholeness, or we
we are part, yes, because wholeness means it's everything, but we are wholeness. So we're not part of it at all.
Experiencing the wholeness instead of just our part.
Yeah.
Yes, right. Right. Okay. Because to be a part, that would be a very 3D way of looking at things.
Right.
Except for we're part of something as opposed to the whole thing. Yeah. Yeah. And that's why the front of the book, it has the 3 diamonds on it. That's for the 3D, 4D, 5D. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. Excellent.
And that's the example that I received from my Palladian teachers to try to explain the wholeness concept, because I got caught up on soul. Like I kept trying to ask, well, are you talking about the soul? And it's like, no. It was like, well, they wouldn't say no. They say
yes, but more.
Go look up what soul means. Research that. And of course, it's a Greek word. That means right from the sea. So that was as a sailing, right?
Page 143.
Right. And water was always thought of as being very soulful. So really, what I gathered from what they're trying to teach me is, there is just one soul, and that's the diamond. Yet we're all different spirits or different facets on that diamond.
We can identify as a soul because the diamond is a soul. Yes, but actually, it's not a bunch of little souls. We're all identifying the same gigantic diamond self.
Yes, right. And we're all just individual spirits.
So would this, I'm just curious, would this work as just another analogy? Is because you just mentioned the sea, which is an interesting, if we recognized that we were a drop of water in the ocean. Oh, look, yes, I'm a drop of water and I'm in the ocean. And then I realized, oh, we're all connected and we can learn from each other. And then the 5D would be, I am the ocean. Because
and I always have been.
Yeah.
Exactly. Perfect. Yes.
Okay. All right.
And then when you think,
there's a great analogy for that.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yes, that's wonderful for that. And then you start thinking about, what about all the oceans on all the other planets and all the other galaxies and all the other universes? Yeah, we're all part of that same thing. The great ocean.
Symbolically, is air often equated with water? I was looking at some of that in the other languages for the word soul. Mm-hmm. And some of the words refer to, air and air beings and breath and all that stuff. Right. And I was like, air and water are a lot alike.
Yes, exactly. Right.
Feature wise and how they move and how they work and their function and so on. Right. I was like, that's cool. So what took me further in an earlier, you used water in a lot of analogies in the book, and very relatable, good stuff. Uh-huh. And essentially water equals love, just like everything else.
Yes.
But for this conversation, water equals love. My question is, are you familiar with the book Stranger in a Strange Land?
Oh, love it. Yes. Robert Heinlein.
Water equals love.
The dude from Mars and all those magical powers. Oh my gosh, great book.
Yeah, that's a key element in the beginning of developing the main character, Valentine Michael Smith, which my brain went out there and I said, ooh, in that story, Valentine Michael Smith is also a TSH. He understands the tiny space in the heart, right, the tipping point, the still point, and whatever.
Yes.
And gradually he taught his friends, his keepers, so to speak, the ladies and Jubal that was with him, how to manifest from that point. And it occurred to me, they were describing the TSH the whole time without actually saying that, because Valentine didn't have the words to talk about where this was coming from.
Yes. Can you define TSH for everyone?
Go for it. That was your cue.
Okay. Yes, tiny space of the heart. So this is that place within our heart. And we can actually go there in meditation. When you go into your heart, you go into the physical heart. But you're going to find, like if you go through the book, you're going to find that when you look around inside of your heart, you're going to see this little doorway, and you're going to wonder where that is. That leads to the tiny space of the heart. And if you can make your way there, which you can, because remember, this is your heart. You have permission to go all over.
Anywhere.
Yeah, anywhere. And you're going to find out that when you go to the very entrance to the tiny space of the heart, it's almost like you're standing at a precipice, like this portal. And on the other side of that portal is the universe. It's just a beautiful star field, right? But it's not just the star field. It's anything you want it to be. So as soon as you cross through that threshold and step into the tiny space of the heart, whatever you're thinking, that's what everything will be. And that's how we create, because it is the seat of creation. It is within us. So it really is the diamond. It is the diamond that is right here within our heart. Because there's another place in the heart you can go to in the 4D part. It's the second heart. And that's on the other side. Well, the camera's opposite, but that's on the right side of the body. But the tiny space of the heart, though, it comes, there's a quote in the book out of the Upanishads. So the Hindu teachings, and it explains that this is the place with all the sun and the moon and the stars, and that's where it always has been, and is, and will be. And that is the tiny space of the heart. Everybody has one. Again, different level of shamanic knowledge, awareness, and perception as to where it is and how you can get to it. So,
how you perceive it, right?
Yes, exactly. It's there.
What I hear you describing is holographic universe.
Yes.
All of the universe is inside of each human.
Yes.
And another analogy of that is we're starting to, well, it's not mainstream information yet, but that each planet actually has its own central star inside of it.
Yes.
And which, when I got to your planet page with Pluto,
right.
You qualified it as a planet. And I was like, oh, that's so cool.
That's
and I
right.
understand it used to be. But that was one of the reasons that they moved it to a planetoid status, but wouldn't tell us why, is because its central sun is out. It seems to not be working, or it's doing it on another dimensional level, not this one.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, not this one. So NASA or whoever can't experience that on this level or whatever. And I was like, oh, I want to talk about this with them.
Yes, exactly right.
This is so cool. But you're just in short, the TSH, tiny space of the heart, is holographic. You can find representations of that everywhere. The movie Men in Black, remember the cat?
Yes.
Had a tiny galaxy on his collar that they were all fighting to find.
Right. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, Orion's belt is what they were calling it. That's another example of that. In the Foot Locker that had a whole universe, tiny universe, and they opened it up. Hell King J.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the movie, he said, "You're still a rookie. Don't open the door." He opens the door, and it's a giant galactic train station, and he and Jay, the humans, were the little tiny world inside of a Foot Locker of another galaxy or universe. So in other words, that holographic universe goes in on and on and on and on, in and in and in. The TSH, hang on, I got notes.
Okay.
Oh, I went nuts. Other words for TSH. Tell me if this is correct from what you understand. You also called it the still point and the 0 point.
Yes.
Which I was like, that's also a tipping point.
Yes.
A moment of creation, and also critical mass.
Yes.
Is the scientific term. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
And DNA.
Yes.
DNA is also a see, she got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tipping point of ultimate creation in any infinite direction.
Yes.
All right. And I was like, that's DNA.
Yes. Exactly.
That's cool. I was like, I'm going to find out about that one. So, oh, cool.
So it makes you wonder when they talk about mapping out the DNA, what else are they mapping out?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, there's a lot more. Yeah, there's a lot more. So running with this TSA concept, I came to another conclusion. Humans are because the TSAs can be inside of something else, and inside of that holographically you can find, like I just said, lots of examples. That means that each human is a TSA of something else that's greater.
Yes.
We're not always aware. We're not always aware.
Right.
But as a shaman, you do on the 5th level, you can become aware.
Yes. You can.
From based on this description, you can become aware of what you are a TSH for. In other words, the reality you create.
Yes.
And a lot of gurus talk about on the 5th level, you're making planets, you're making galaxies, you're making new realities, you're creating life, all this other godlike creator ability that you're not really familiar with here on the 3-4 level, but you will be.
Yes.
And I was like, that makes you a TSH right there.
Yes.
Humans themselves are but we have one inside of us, and there's probably another one inside of that one, and so on and so on.
Right. Yes, it goes on forever. Like if you saw a hall of mirrors, mirrors lined up, go forever. Yeah, same thing. How they reflect back. So.
And at the same time, we're still all the same.
Yes, we're all.
It still says, oh, that feeds into the analogy I just thought of. Do you guys, if you've seen the Star Wars movie, the latest ones that have Rey, the heroine, the female hero, and she's on the island with Luke. He's an old man now, last of the Jedi.
Yeah.
And she gets stuck in a abstract cave that's all mirrors after mirrors after mirrors.
Yes.
And it's all herself going,
yes.
And her hand flips, and she realizes that it's just her a few seconds off.
Yes.
Over and over, and they don't say much. They just do so much. And I was like, there's some profundity in there.
Yes, exactly.
And you're talking about that. Yeah. Which Iris, what you just said. Yeah, it's the same thing over and over in another way.
And just like Neo too in Matrix, remember when he finally made it to the architect and he showed him that many times he had been here? Same thing. Yes. Tiny space.
Reincarnation. Oh, that's true. Reincarnations become all of those as well. Wow. All right. So hang on, back up. I want to play a little. If you don't mind. Spirit names. What was your inspiration for that section?
The spirit was about spirit naming.
Yes. About finding your spirit name. Spirit names. The inversion of let you explain it.
Yeah, because it's nice if you have a spirit name, because we all know what our regular name is, and we answer to that because our name sounds, it's a vibration, it's energy. So it's nice if you can find either through ceremony or shamanic, find a shaman that can do a ceremony for you and find your spirit name. Now it could be a totem, could be an animal name, or it could be just some other eclectic name. And that way you would have another way that you would identify yourself when you're doing ceremony and ritual. It's like when you step through that portal of doing ceremony and ritual, I am so-and-so. So when I come in, this is who I am. And it's a totally different vibration. Just like we put on different clothes to do different things, right? We go running, we're going to put on our nice shoes, our running gear. We're going to go backpacking. We got backpacks and camping stuff. When we go to work, we got our suits and we look nice.
We load up on our densities and dimensions. Right.
So we all have different tools that we use. So having a different spirit name, then what it does, it invokes a new vibration of who you are. Again, another multifaceted self of who you are within that diamond. And that way, that new vibration will give you the energy that you would use whenever you do ceremony and ritual. For instance, it's like having a power tool or something like my necklace here. This is my version of the whale tongue you get in Hawaii. So if I want to see it sideways, see if I can see it. Yeah, see it.
Okay, yeah.
So what happens when a whale would give themselves to the Hawaiian people, they would go out and carve out the tongue of the whale. Not the tongue, but a tooth. And they would carve the tooth and give it to the teachers and the royalty people, the royals, because it meant that they were good teachers. And because the whale tooth symbolizes the whale having big lungs, able to express itself, right? You can hear the humpback whale for 1,000 miles in the ocean. That's been documented. And also, and that way the whale has a long tongue. So it makes them a wonderful speaker. So usually the whale tongue was given to people that were teachers or part of the royal family. So power tools, power names, spirit names, all those things are wonderful for you to have when you start doing shamanic ceremony.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. I love the teachings you book. In the book, you give a little, baby step it a little bit and encourage people to like flip up letters.
Yes.
And tune in with their spirit guides is another way.
Yes.
And meditations and stuff like that.
Yes.
You can have a lot of fun with that. I tried, which takes me to your unit, and this is all in the 3D shaman section.
Right.
And very rich. The stuff is just, every page is just loaded with info, folks. You have definitely got to check out this book.
Thank you so much.
So seriously, you're going to get five or 6 to 30 or 40 nuggets from each page, and there's a couple hundred pages.
Yes,
it's really nice. So anyway, numbers. Bah!
Oh my gosh, I know.
The number, the numerology in here.
I had
is
to cut back on numbers and how many pages I had. Jeannie goes, "That's a little much, isn't it?"
Numbers
I
are
bet you do
infinite,
that.
infinite. So yeah.
And the numerology with it, off the hook.
Yes.
But you chose the parts that were very, very excellent applications for. I'm looking through my notes real quick. Hang on.
Numbers and science.
I thought I'd show a little bit while she's talking about it.
Oh, okay. Numbers. All right. So, are you you probably are. Are you familiar with gematria?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. Okay. I was looking to see if you were going to mention it in the book, and I was okay.
No,
So that's probably one of the pieces that probably got taken out.
Yeah.
Because gematria is a great way to find out more about the meaning and the intentions and the vibrations behind the numbers in your name or your birth date or whatever. But I was wondering if what your familiarity is with that. But here's another question. You're talking about the numbers in the human body and specifically the chakras.
Yes.
And you talked about the heart chakra is number 5. And where I'm going with this is the chakra system that I mostly work with, the heart chakra is number 4. Mm-hmm. So I was going to ask you, what's the total number of chakras in a human that you work with?
Well, we have the basic 7 that we can use our chakras with. And of course, if we switch that to the Egyptian system, there's 13. Right. Because Egyptian system is based on our body's sacred geometry. So like the distance between your pupils or the width of your hand, that's how far those chakras are apart, right from the chin to the nose.
That was my next question is where the hell are they?
You can measure, with your own palm width, you can measure your chakras. So like, for instance, if you put your bottom of the hand on the chin, which there's a chakra here, just lift it up, it's going to come right there to the tip of the nose. So those people that you see with this, they have somewhat of a hook nose. You're thinking, I wonder why they got a hook nose. Well, if they do their hand to the chakra, they're going to. That's exactly how it matches up. It's all about the sacred geometry of the body. Yeah.
Get everybody sitting around doing this. Y'all do it. Thank you. You jumped ahead. Did a great job intuiting where I was going.
That's right. Yeah.
With that, thank you. I was going to say, okay, then where are they? That's awesome. Iris, what did you want to do? Talk about next.
One of the things that you mentioned was when pre-show, and that we definitely want to hit on, is what a lot of people are going through right now and experiencing these jumps and that sort of thing. So let's talk about that. I want to get that in before we go too far, and then the show's gone. So because Margot and I we've been comparing experiences, and you were agreeing with some of the things, where whether you think it's like, I've had people come and ask me, have you did you talk to so and so? Well, the name's familiar, but I'm not sure. And then and it's like, I feel like I should know it, but I don't, and it's jumping timelines because we're not carrying the information. Timelines and dimensions and all that stuff. So Dale, if you would just talk a little bit about what everybody's going through with the dimensions.
When we're jumping different dimensional aspects or different aspects of consciousness or focus or choice points. So what happens is, we've been like this our whole life. Since we were born on Earth, we've always been multidimensional. Since we've been born in other places, we've always been multidimensional. This is something that we do for all of eternity. We're multidimensional. It's just that now many of us are more aware of this capacity we have to be able to truly multitask as a shaman, that we can think about something, we can feel it, and we can also perceive it through the body. Well, can my body do that and also perceive it spiritually? Is my spirit able to understand that and inspire me in different ways? So if we just imagine being mind, body, and spirit, just those 3 dimensions, just think about when we're trying to make a decision about something. Well, we've got the mind thing we know we always use. Well, have we thought to ask our body? How does our body feel about this particular thought or particular action we're going to take? So all we have to do with the body is we have to train it to be calm when it means yes. We're going to use our body truly as a pendulum, right? So if it's a calm feeling, then we know it's good. If we feel jittery or nervous, we know, well, we need to either ask a different questions or maybe just kind of hold off on that. Right. And then, of course, spiritually, our spirit is never going to tell us yes or no. That's something a lot of people get confused on, because if it's spirit tells you yes or no, that means control. Spirit would never control. Control is not love.
Duality is not the spirit.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's
because
duality.
Spirit's going to let you do whatever you perceive to do or want to do, because that's part of the lesson. Oh, don't do that again, or don't do it that way again, right? Do it this way. Try this way, right? So that way, being dimensional. So as we think about something, just don't think about it. Use our body wisdom and use our spiritual wisdom. And that way you've got 3 dimensions that with any decision, especially these big life decisions, right? A new job, new relationship, a new home, buying cars, land, just anything. What do I do for the kids? So any big decisions like that, use this multidimensional capacity we have, because it's there. And of course, like anything else, like a muscle, right? The more we use it, the stronger it gets. So just use it.
Excellent. So use your mind, body, spirit awarenesses.
Yes.
When you're experiencing multiple, am I summarizing? When you experience multiple time line crossovers or anxiety from it.
Right, exactly. And especially, and if you didn't buy the book or read the book, so that way you're not worrying about, well, what do I do in 3D? What do I do in 4D? What do I do in 5D? Well,
the book will
keep
tell
it
you what
simply, right? Keep it simple. Do mind, body, spirit first, and then move on to the 3D self-awareness, the 4D love, and then the 5D wholeness, and 6D unity, and whatever's out there after that.
Wow. Well, something else, when we talk about like our mind, body, spirit here, and we do have other versions of ourselves in other, I want to say dimensions, but some people get the 3D, 4D mixed up with, that's one kind of dimension, but then there's the other kind where it's different timelines, different situations,
dimensions versus densities, and the similarities and the dissimilarities of those two concepts.
And so
other realities.
Other
reality.
And then sometimes, like I've experienced and I know Margot and I've talked about, oh, you're doing this on another area and it's affecting me here, or and I've known people who have actually, like a friend of mine, she said she was in a room by herself and she heard her own voice, but it wasn't from inside her head, say, "Hey, are you there?" And it was like and she knew that it was herself on another dimension trying to make contact with her in another reality, contacting herself here, and how we can support each other
interdimensionally.
Whoa.
Interdimensional support group.
And it really, it's like when
you're never
realize,
alone.
Yes.
The ultimate.
That's a hard thing to recognize. I mean, and I do, but it's not something that people talk about. Well, how's your other self today?
How's the posse?
And I would always answer, which one?
Oh, that's a good answer. Absolutely. All right. So talking about densities and dimensions and good stuff, at one point, specifically page 142, you talk about how long.
Go
ahead and flip to it. You talk a little bit about Ra and the advice that's found with Ra all the way through the book. You mention it quite a lot, which totally love. And the law of one references. And they talk about, at one point, they mention time, and 3D, 75,000 years, 4D, 30 million years, 5D, another bigger astronomical number. There it is. She's holding it up.
Yes.
So that's, my question is, all right, we're wrapping up the 75,000 that the Earth is, the humans are, or the beings, not just humans, but the beings on Earth. We're basically wrapping up this last round of 75,000.
Yes.
In your opinion, do we have to wait another 30 million to go from 4 to go into 4, but then we have to do 30 million years before we can hit 5? And the reason I question this is because so many people are hyper aware of going 3 to 5, 3 to 4 to 5, and they naturally want to treat 4 like a doorway or bridge rather than a place to stay for 30 million years. When we've 75,000 was damn hard.
Yes.
All right. And part of that is but life in 4D is not like life in 3D. You would enjoy 4D living a lot more than you would 3D living. Really, Dale, do we have to do 30 million?
Well, some of us won't, because remember, as Ra talks about, some of us are wanderers. So we want, so here we are in these higher densities. I imagine most of the people that are here now are probably 5th and 6th density, right? You're there, and I'm sure you're wandering around, and you saw this kiosk one day. It says, "Want to come to Earth? Teachers wanted. Please apply within." Right? We apply with
a job fair, Iris.
Job fair. Now we're
that's what she organizes. Right. That's her day job.
75,000 year commitment, right? So here we are, 75,000 years on Earth, and we're coming to the end of that. So those of us who are wanderers, though, we go back to our home density, right? Unless we have gotten caught up in the emotional tug and strain of 3D living, and we forgot who we are. And so what happens is that
we haven't signed up for somebody
we got to relearn it. Got to relearn. But remember, we got to be somewhere, and everybody's going to be somewhere. So it's just those that don't want to move on, they'll just simply go to another 3D existence
and do another 75
because it won't be here on Earth, because Mother Earth's transitioning also to 4D. So.
Well, and couldn't some of that time too be our spending in helping others? Like, okay, we say, okay, send me back again, because I got to help others in my little group progress and do that kind of thing. I also kind of wonder, because I know we've talked about it before with the 75,000 years, and when we're not in the 3D form, time is totally different, and we're counting it those years as trips around the sun. And if we're not on this planetary location,
what does 30 million years mean?
Yeah.
Right. Yes, it's all very relative. I've got a page, matter of fact, in the book. I've got what page, but I've got in all the planets and how fast they rotate and how fast they revolve around the sun. So they have a different time frame for what a year is.
And it's also interesting how we
page 155.
Yeah, and it's also how we talk about how we talk about time with this, but time is a 3D construct.
Yes, but because we're in the eternal now. Remember, we're in that diamond, right? We're there we've always been there. We are, and we will be forever. So we're there. So when we think about being in the eternal now, it's not 1 second. The eternal now is not 1 second. It's a stretch of time, just like a newspaper. For those who read newspapers still, right? That's a page of print and words. We're not picking out one little letter, right? That entire page are the words. Or if you had some silly putty, right? And you had a picture on it, right? You stretched the silly putty, but it's still that picture is just stretched out. So think about time as just being stretched out. And so that way it's just one time. And when we talk about being stretched out with the time, that's why some of us may feel like this day lasted like 2 months, right? And then 2 months later or a week later, we go, this day went by like in a second, right? Mm-hmm. That's because we're living in this dynamic interdimensional dimension of this stretch and pull. It's like the yin and yang, right? We're stretching and pulling. So time is going everywhere. And remember, this is being choreographed for 8 billion people. So I'm not sure who that casting director is, but there's some awesome people doing an awesome job pushing and pulling and all directions.
Time masters out there.
Well, and on top of that, I was in a
time police.
Yes.
I was in a workshop where for Theta Healing, where we learned. We already kind of had learned, but we actually practiced in the workshop stretching time for ourselves. Yes. And it was like, the Vienna was the leader of the workshop, this particular one, and she's the one who founded the Theta Healing method. And she said, gosh, we've got a lot to cover this afternoon. When she looked at it, and she said, but we'll get through it. It's okay. And it seemed like a very long afternoon. I mean, we were doing a lot and we got a lot done. And we all looked at our clock. It was time to end. And she said, so how was that for stretching time? And we all went, oh my God, because we did like 6 hours of work in 3.
Right.
But
yeah, wonderful. Good shamanic teacher then.
yes.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is.
And I've done that
Sometimes
myself, you know. I'm in a hurry to get to work. Squish it.
Yep. Bend it for the traffic. Sometimes people will get into these deep conversations about what is time. And the easiest way I've found to describe it in a 3D sense is that it's a filing system.
Yes. Yeah.
It's an organizational system. It's a filing system to categorize events so that on a 3D level, we can understand certain relativities.
Yes.
But you outgrow that when you shift.
Yes. Yes.
From 3 to 4 to 5.
Right.
Which,
yeah, because we'll just have a different perception of everything. Right. Yeah. Totally.
And that freaks people out. What do you mean there's a different perception? They want to know what the perception looks like. And basically it's like let them eventually they hit an experience and I'm like, there.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it's like to be on a different awareness of time.
Yes.
Or time being absent.
Right. Exactly. And another way
experience it.
You know, when you think of that, it'd be just like the perception of a third grader, or like say 3D. But how about the fourth grader? Totally different perception. Fifth grader, totally different perception. Right? Yeah. So you know, we've done the perception things. I mean, we go through grade school. All these grades are different perceptions, right? We have 12 different perceptions or realities when we go through school, and then go through college and postgraduate stuff. So we all live through these little striations of time, but we have this greater sense of consciousness and knowing and perception and how we are able to relate to our world, our realities.
Well, and it's just like we can sit here and remember an event like it was yesterday.
Yes.
Even though it happened 40 years ago,
yep.
It's very fresh. And when you can close your eyes and be in that moment.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That you were in at that time. And
yes.
That's multidimensionality.
Yeah.
Right there. Yeah. That's interdimension. That's time travel.
Yes, because when you're able to do that, it wasn't 40 years ago. You're there right now. You were there right that second.
That's and everything's happening at once, so
yes.
you can jump around, you know.
Yes, you can.
I'm a photographer. That's what I do.
Yes.
I move time and bend dimensions and bring dimensions back up that have been put in the past and so on. That's what I do.
Yes.
Yeah, I help people do that visually. Mm-hmm. Yes. So yeah, I figured that. I was like, ooh, that's another way to look at what a photographer does.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my husband and I often have conversations about the nature of reality. What is reality? What exists in different dimensions and what doesn't exist or exist in one place and not in another and so on. And he does really, really in-depth stuff. A lot of Gaia.com type of studying and a lot of cool stuff there. And basically through a really vast concept squeezed down into a couple of little English words. Basically, the theory goes that one of the most basic building block particles of existence can be characterized by calling it light.
Yes.
That everything is basically light. Energy is light. Light is energy. Energy can become matter and on and on and on and build on it until you come up with all these things and all these dimensions and all these densities and layers of existences. And each one of them have their tipping point, still point, TSH point in them, all that good stuff.
Yes.
And you did a really wonderful job of characterizing it in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5 words. Mm-hmm. Light as moments of love.
Yes.
And that goes in with that other understanding very, very well that everything is light.
Yes. Everything is
Therefore, everything is also love, which takes me to the abstract question I wanted to bring to you earlier. Everything in here, shamans are love. You focus on love. You do love. Water equals love. Densities are reflections of expressions of love in, mind, body, spirit, physical, mental, emotional expressions of love. On and on with love. Light as moments is of love. Your choice point, which are life decisions, which are basically expressions of love or to a very, very tiny degree or to a very vast degree. Unlove, maybe, if you wanted to find words for it. Eventually, while I'm reading this book, I come to the realization that the word love isn't big enough.
Yes.
And I was like, there's something else. It occurred to me in between the sentences, in between the meanings, those tipping points between the breaths, between the blinks, the TSHs, inside the THSs, there's a concept that the word love is not big enough.
Yes.
It's not complex enough or simple enough.
Yes.
It's close.
Yeah, close.
It's like 99.9% there.
You're trying to put a 3D word on a
5D plus concept. Actually, I'm talking on 6D level, actually, at this level. So I'm getting on up there.
I know.
But I was like, ooh, I'd like for you to try to write about that.
Well, that's why, you saw in the book a lot of times I would have capital LOVE, and then I'd have a capital L, and then small case OVE, and then everything small case LOVE, to try to bring in that 3D, 4D, and 5D perspective of that. Yeah.
To reflect. Thank you. Yeah, and that writing device was extremely, again, very helpful all the way through the book.
Oh, thank you.
Excellent job doing that. But yeah, there's more.
Yes.
This book seriously will, let me be blunt, will baby step your ass into some really abstract, cool concepts, and then leave you in a really good launching point to learn more.
Yes. Right. Yeah.
To want to learn more.
Yes. Because it's up to all of us as shamans, as those little facets on this beautiful diamond of wholeness. Yes. It's up to us to create ceremonies and rituals that we're able to use to influence our reality. And that's what we do as shamans. We all have now we may have a similar little thing we do, but we have a different way to approach a ceremony and ritual, or whether it's healing or anything. So.
Very cool. Yes. I want to just highlight again Dale Stacy. You can find more about him and the book and Jeannie at EarthStar Spiritual Center.org. And he's also on Facebook. And where else can they find you? It's mainly Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook, right. And also, if you go to the website, I pretty much finished the new website. So I've got all the information on there that you need if you want to see the classes. And if you're local, we'll start our meditations again on Tuesday nights, November 1st. After Jeannie's cataracts get healed up, we're ready to go. Nice. The Shaman School will start November 12th. So it'll be just one Saturday a month. And it'll take us all the way through June. You do not have to attend all of them. That would violate the principle of simply shaman, right? You come to the ones you feel led to come to or attend, right? And but if you do come to all of them, we'll offer you a minister ordination if you should want to put that in your little toolbox to be an ordained interfaith minister. Yeah.
Very
nice.
Very nice.
Very generous. Thank you.
And I want to remind everybody, next week it is the 4th chakra, the green heart chakra space. So we'll be talking about that next week. Dale, it has been wonderful having you with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
I mean, it's just impossible.
Again.
Yes.
Yeah, you're just such a wealth of information.
Thank you.
And love
being some meditations or something fun like that. Come and play.
Yes, very much. So hope everybody found this interesting and helpful. And we look forward to seeing everybody next week at the same bat time, same bat channel.
Good night.
Okay, good night. Aloha.
Aloha.
Thank you for joining The Eyes of Indigo with Iris Carter and Margot Ross Sears. Music is Arcadia by Kevin MacLeod of Incomptech.com. Licensed under Creative Commons. Visit our Facebook page for broadcast details at www.facebook.com/Eyes of Indigo. Show is copyrighted 2022 by Iris Carter and Margot Ross Sears. All rights reserved.